Hi, in this video we are going to talk about creating question banks. So to create a question bank, you first go to the Slides tab at the top, and from there select Question Banks. Now we're going to create our question bank, but by default you have a Question Bank 1, and every project in Storyline has this one by default. But we're going to go ahead and do this Create Question Bank option. And here you can name your question bank so that you can easily tell it apart from others. So I've named this one Storyline 360 Questions, and from here we can add our questions. So these are going to be graded questions. So I'm going to select the graded option. And then I'm going to choose from the templates here. So you can see we have some built-in graded questions that are pretty generic and plain. And then if you scroll down, you have much more vibrant and dynamic options available in the templates. And over on the side, you can choose the theme that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and just choose the dark theme, and then I'm going to pick one of the ones that I like. Okay, I like this one right here because I can already see I'm going to change that color there to be purple to match my theme, and it's nice and simple and I don't have to worry about images. So once that loads, now you have your first question. So here you can just simply type in your question up in the top in the question field. And then you can also put in your answers in the lower section. Once you've entered in your answers, you can select which one is the correct answer. In this case, drag and drop is the answer to our question. And then down here in the bottom, then you can customize the correct and incorrect and try again responses. You also have some more options for each of these as well. And here you're able to record an audio feedback option. And then you can also further expand on your text response. You can also decide at this point too what's going to happen after this. And by default, it's set to go to the next slide, but you can change that if you like here. And then finally, this is where you can assign the points for this question. We're going to, again, leave this for the default points that are assigned. So 10 if they get it correct and 0 if they get it incorrect. But if you wanted to do more customization here, you have that option. So now we're happy with this question. Let's go ahead and take a look at the slide view. Once you're happy with the question, you can go back to your question bank, and here you can add another question. From the question bank, there are a few options for creating additional questions. If I wanted to do a different graded question, and I wanted it to be a different type, then I could just go back up to the top here and select graded question, and then I will get back to that template selection option. If I know, though, that all of these are going to be multiple choice and I want them to be the exact same style, then I can select on that question, right-click, and then say copy. And then in the empty space, I can just right-click and say paste. Now I'm going to have multiple questions. You also probably notice when I right-click, I can also just say duplicate question. So you can do this as many times as you have questions, and then you can just go into each one and then edit the question and answers. And then that way all of your options that you selected will all match and be the same, and your slides will also be the exact same. So it's just a quick way to do that if you're interested. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on this to open it, and I'm going to start editing my questions. And I'm going to pause the video right here while I do that. All right, so now I've entered in my questions. I wanted to show you a couple of more things. That is, if we want to edit the way that the slides look or that the feedback slides look, we can do that by selecting the feedback master up here. And then here we can choose different styles that we might like. So you can see that it's selected on this momentum feedback, but perhaps I want this one instead. And what that does is that changes what our different layers look like. So when we see this is what our try again looks like, this is what our incorrect looks like, and this is what our correct looks like. So we also have the option of selecting how we want the feedback. And in this case, we have it by question. We also could choose by choice, or we could choose none. And then we also have the option here to shuffle the answers. So if we don't select to shuffle the answers, then they will be given exactly in the order in which we put them in. But if we shuffle them, then we will get some variety in that. Then we can also choose to do the score by the question or by the choice. In this case, we want to leave it by question. And then we can also choose how many attempts they're going to get. So again, you can select that they get 1 up to 10 or even unlimited. When you're ready to use your question bank, you can just go back to your story view or your slide view, either one, and you're going to select on slides, and then you're going to select on the question banks. And here we're going to do new draw from question bank. Now, this is where you're going to select which question bank you want. If you only have the default question bank 1, then you would just leave that here, but we've created this other one, so we're going to select it. And then you can choose to draw the questions randomly, or you can leave that off and it'll go in numeric order. And then you can also decide if you want to select all of them or a subset of the questions. We're just going to go ahead and leave it set for all, and then we're going to select Insert. Now this is where you will be able to see what the slide draw looks like, which is your questions that you have selected. So here, if I wanted to, I could change that. And then this is also where you will be able to look at the question bank. And that's where you can see your questions in more detail. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and delete this blank one in the beginning here. And then what we're going to do is take a look at and preview our slides. So we're just going to look at this entire project. And here you will see that it has picked the questions, and I can now select the proper answers for them, and then I will get the feedback for it. And then if I get one wrong, then I will be able to see that it was wrong, and so on and so forth. Now you'll obviously still want to put a results slide at the end in order to show the learners what they got right and what they got wrong, but this is the basics for using a question bank. I hope you found this useful and hope you're able to use question banks to include in your projects. Thanks for watching, sharing, and improving education, one essential step at a time.